here's the game we played yesterday. Who's doing the best job? Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, or Alex Van Pelt? So far, year one, they obviously have different duties and different levels of responsibility, but for what they've been hired to do, who's done the best job of the three?
Is it Van Pelt?
It is. It's absolutely Van Pelt. Now, that is me saying something nice about him, Bert, and I want you to recognize it.
I think that's probably right. Like, because I mean, you look at the progression of the quarterback, you look at what his reputation was at North Carolina and coming out, and how he was sort of this really raw, like the wild horse who needed to be tamed and converted into, what you need him to be as a pro, and it's happening.
I look at more what he's been handed to deal with, the entire roster, like the offensive roster.
The offensive line, how many people in New England, if I had told you who the starting was, Ben Brown, if I had given you guys that, if I had given people in New England that name as the starting center in November, how many people would know?
Nobody. None. I have no idea.
Zero.
Still struggle.
I still couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I half the time I see him with that 77 and Brown on the back, I'm like, whoa, Trent's back? Like, he
looks like Joe Tweeney with a beard.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, like the level of issues they have personnel-wise up front and their ability to manage that. I mean, one of the reasons why I was like, don't put Drake in there was because I was afraid of their ability to manage and protect him, based on the circumstances around him. And a lot of it is Drake himself. A lot of it is Drake himself being a superior athlete and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they have done stuff to manage him. And they have put him in a position where you can legitimately look at it now, middle of November, and say, he's got a chance to build momentum over the next 6 weeks that you can carry into 2020.
Yeah, almost like people were saying you should start him and get the experience and build something and be worth it for next year. Yeah, that's a crazy thought. I know it's
flag that was planted back in August.
It's a crazy thought to play the kid and have things go well for him, even if the team is losing, even if they have no talent around him, and even if there are problems. But I would say of the three guys we mentioned, Alex Van Pelt has done the best job in his role of the three guys.
I think that's fair.
Because in the reverse, I asked if you could fire one and you were forced to fire one of the three, who would you let go?
I mean, I think it would probably be Elliott just because of that's the way the NFL works. I think it's head coach first, then front office. I think it's hard to make any sort of assessment on Elliott Wolf.
I'm not saying you have to fire him, Bert. I'm saying if you were forced to have to fire
the three,
I'm firing him. I had him fired like a month ago.
He fired everybody. He just fires everybody.
But you fired AVP a month ago too.
Oh yeah, I mean the truth.
There's a whole new staff.
Hey, it's a whole new thing we're working on.
Beatles running the Jets over here.
But I'll tell you this.
You're fired.
I am Woody Johnson.
You're fired.
I am. All right, I'd bench the quad. Right, bench Aaron Rodgers after 3 weeks. I'd do all of it. But I think that the damage. This is my line of thinking. I explained this yesterday. The inability to upgrade the talent for next year would be more damaging than bringing back Alex Van Pelt for another year of his offense. Like, that to me is not dangerous to the team. That is not. Alex Van Pelt may be vanilla, may be boring, may not utilize motion enough. I know the juice may not be worth the squeeze, Bird. I saw the quote. But that to me isn't going to set them back. Like, that isn't going to wreck Drake Maye. Not having talent and not getting better from a roster standpoint is very damaging to this team if they don't do it this offseason.
Right, and I think that puts the pressure on everybody now. And the good thing is, like, with Drake, you have something to sell veteran players. And I don't think you had that the last couple of years. So, take T. Higgins, for example, who I'm pretty sure the Bengals are just going to let hit the market, right?
You watch him last week, by the way, because he's coming off an injury. Did you see him? Did you see that game?
With the Charger game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back in on T. Higgins.
Yeah, he's a good player.
No, I know, but there were questions about,
Can he be a number one? Because coverage is always going to Chase.
Well, I want to see what the hell he looked like coming off this injury. Like, is he breaking down? Is he getting older?
Good.
He looked good.
He's good.
I'm back in on him.
Okay, so, I think it's the same sort of thing that a receiver is going to look at now and say, is this guy going to put me in the best position to play at my very best? And that's like that was the equation for Stephon Diggs in 2020. He's coming off of, Josh Allen's coming off of like a okay year. They made the playoffs. He was up and down in 2019. But Stephon Diggs looked at it and said, that kid has real talent. And that kid's going to be able to unlock what I can do down the field. Mm-hmm. And, like, I want to go play with him because he's tough. He's a leader. You can see all of it there. And I think Drake has some of those qualities where another player or receiver, a top receiver, can look at him and say, yeah, like, I think this guy could be the quarterback who can get the most out of me or get more out of me than, what I'm dealing with right now.
617.
Not that Higgins is that guy, by the way, because Higgins is playing one of the best 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Do you see Burrow's numbers?
True.
Oh, he's killing it.
27 touchdowns, 4 picks.
He's killing
over 3,800 yards.
And people, he's trying.
I mean,
Jesus
he is
Christmas.
like
He's
they
trying,
are.
Man.
The Bengals have to be real freaking careful here.
Oh yeah,
because like that kid, like he is someone who will get frustrated with losing. Like that. I've said he's like the closest descendant to Brady. I believe it. Like, and winning and losing is paramount to him. Like, and so like that. Like
when you say careful, meaning what?
He's
careful, like not to piss him off. Like careful not to like. I'm going to demand a trade.
He'll get out of there. You'd be like Stafford. Go win elsewhere.
I don't know, man. When does a franchise quarterback in his prime force the trade?
Stafford did.
No, he was not early. He was not on a second contract at that point.
He wasn't, but like I do think it's like one of those where it's. I mean, Carson Palmer did.
Rodgers, Brady.
Carson Palmer retired.
I don't think those are good comps, guys.
I'm just saying, but you don't want to be in that position. Okay,
right.
You don't want to be in that position, and so
right, you don't want to be in the position where your franchise quarterback comes out and says, "I hate being here."
Where he's throwing for, I mean, I think he's like taken as many hits as any quarterback in the league.
Yep,
like he's had Higgins in and out of the lineup. I mean, he's playing great.
Stafford played 12 full seasons in Detroit before the trade. That's a little different.
It's different, but
it's different.
Rodgers
forced his way out.
But Burrow's 5 years in.
Rodgers again.
I know.
Twilight
years.
They're
not similar, right?
Late 30s.
Okay, so but Carson Palmer was 8 years in.
Yeah, that's more similar.
Burrow's getting closer to that. Burrow's 5 years in.
I would also say Carson Palmer did not have the ability of Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow is a clear-cut top 5 quarterback.
Pretty good though.
Yeah.
Like he
was Aikman Jr.
He was a good player.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.